19,911 confirmed aggregate cases of coronavirus since the very beginning of the pandemic. That is an increase of 42 new cases overnight. There have been, as you know, 729 deaths due to the coronavirus in Victoria. No new deaths since the report I gave you yesterday. There are 118 Victorians in hospital. 11 of those are in intensive care and 7 of those 11 are on a ventilator. A total of 2,506,513 test results have been received, which is an increase of 8,803 since yesterday. So they will be Sunday's results and are broadly on trend in terms of weekend numbers. Thank you to each and every one of those people for getting tested. And again, the reminder, the very clear appeal and request to every single Victorian, regardless of your circumstance, your postcode, if you've got symptoms, even mild ones, please come forward and get tested. It is a massive contribution that you can make to our collective efforts to defeat this second wave. There are 4,282 cases with an unknown source. That's a decrease of 9 since yesterday. There are 158 healthcare workers who are active cases. We send them our best wishes and we thank them and all their colleagues for their amazing work. There are 1,040 active cases across the state, so that number continues to fall. That trend is very much with us. In terms of regional Victorian cases, there are no new cases in regional Victoria, and that means there are just 43 active cases across regional local government areas that are currently under stage 3. I will come back to regional Victoria in just a moment. In terms of the rolling averages 1 September to 14 September, 52.9 in Metro, 3.6 in regional Victoria. And there are no new mystery cases in regional Victoria. There is one mystery case from the 1st of September. So at the end of today, that person will come out of those numbers because it has been 14 days since their positive test. Active cases in disability facility settings, there are 10, 6 staff, 4 residents. Aged care shifts that have been worked by hospital staff, 4,426 shifts, quite an amazing effort, a massive effort to look after the most vulnerable, and we thank each and every one of those hospital staff who've gone into aged care and done such a tremendous job. There are 515 active cases in aged care as we update you today. Now, because there are less than 5 cases for a 14-day period and there are no mystery cases in regional Victoria, I am absolutely delighted to be able to announce that regional Victoria from 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night will be able to take the 3rd step in our safe and steady roadmap to COVID normal. That is a massive, it's a massive thing. It is such good news. I am so pleased and proud of every single regional Victorian who has stayed the course, followed the rules, got tested. They've done an amazing job. And I know it hasn't been easy because there have been many communities where, to the best of our knowledge, there has not been virus. But you've always got to be conservative. You've always got to be cautious. What this means, off public health advice, we're able to make further announcements today, and regional Victoria will be opening up in just the next 24 hours or so. It is a massive thing. It is a very positive thing. It is something we should all be very pleased and proud of the job that regional Victorians have done. This will be welcomed, I'm sure, and there's no greater evidence to the people of Melbourne that these strategies, getting numbers low, is possible and it is essential. You have no chance of keeping numbers low once you open up if you don't first get them low via the restrictions and the rules we have in place. This is a credit to everyone in regional Victoria. I am proud of you, I am grateful to you, and I'm so pleased to be able to make these announcements today. To give you a sense of what these changes to the rules will mean, the 4 reasons to leave your home will no longer apply, gathering limits will increase, and most workplaces will reopen. Restrictions on businesses and visitors do remain in place regarding people caps, physical distancing, the wearing of masks, things of that nature. But the key changes include outdoor gathering limits will increase to 10 people. Infants under 12 months are not included in the calculation of that 10. The household bubble is introduced where up to 5 visitors are allowed in the home from a nominated household. School will be a staggered start over the first couple of weeks of term 4. and we will have more to say about the exact age groups, year levels, that'll be coming back over those first 2 weeks of term 4. But that will be essentially all classes, all schools across regional Victoria will have as close to a normal term 4 as we can possibly deliver. Hospitality and entertainment will be allowed, subject to gathering limits and some other requirements around density. Retail, of course, has remained open and will be expanded to include personal services such as beauty and tattooing where a mask can be worn. For real estate services, outdoor auctions will be permitted with a limit of 10 people. All community sport will return for children. Non-contact sport will be permitted for adults. Gathering limits for weddings will increase to 10 people and for funerals to 20 mourners. Outdoor religious gatherings will increase to up to 10 people plus 1 faith leader. Tourist accommodation will open for regional Victorians in regional Victoria for them to travel and holiday within regional Victoria. Every business, every single business across regional Victoria will be required to have a COVID safe plan, and those plans will be enforced from the 28th of September. If I can just talk about hospitality just for a moment before we go to questions. You would appreciate with the Upper House of Parliament sitting, Jenny has a time commitment, so we'll go straight to questions once I'm finished running through this. This will be predominantly outdoor, that is for cafes, bars, restaurants, pubs, subject to gathering limits and density quotients. Only table service will be allowed, and there will be a 2-hour limit on bookings. For indoor service venues, they can open with a cap of 10 seated patrons per space, subject to a 1 to 4 square metre density rule. There will also be a maximum of 2 such spaces. So 2 spaces inside, a maximum of 10 each. So for larger venues, that would be 20 people inside. This is from, again, midnight tomorrow night. For outdoor service, more customers can be seated. There are different arrangements there, but essentially outdoor service venues, there will be a cap of 50 seated patrons per space, subject to density requirements at 1 per 2 square metres. Group limits of 10 apply as well. The key point there is that tables will need to be 1.5 metres apart. So for many venues, larger venues, they will be able to have up to 70 people seated at any one time. Others may have different outdoor areas which are quite separate. Again, there will be advice, assistance, guidelines, very detailed conversations over the next 24 hours with various peak bodies. And of course, we're there to provide advice to any and all individual businesses who need that. I know that many would like more. They'd like more inside, particularly, but the risk of infection is dramatically higher inside. This is, I think, a reasonable compromise. There are, as I said, up to 20 people inside, 50 people outside. That is a significant step. Those venues are currently closed at the moment and are doing takeaway only. So that is a very significant step. Now, as these weeks pass, as we see this model actually working, and we've got real data, and we've got a really clear picture of what this means for the amount of virus in regional Victoria, then of course we don't rule out monitoring that and being informed by that, not just for the purposes of settings in regional Victoria, but to all of those in the hospitality sector in metropolitan Melbourne. All of this work in regional Victoria will help to inform the early steps and subsequent steps that we will take in metropolitan Melbourne as well. In some respects, many, I think, had expected there would be no patrons inside. We've gone through this in fine detail, and the public health advice confirms that we can have 2 groups of up to 10 each. That is significant. I'm not for a moment pretending that many wouldn't like that number to be much higher, but this is a big step, a very, very big step today, but it is a safe step and one that can strike that balance between more economic activity, more money in the till, more people back at work, but not risking having to close down again, not risking frittering away all the hard work that regional Victorians have done. Just in terms of movement from Melbourne to regional Victoria, those reasons have not changed. You cannot be travelling to regional Victoria unless you absolutely need to. Those reasons are particularly well understood. We will have more to say about some changes some enhancements that Victoria Police will make in terms of the border between metropolitan Melbourne and regional Victoria. That will relate to the percentage of cars that will be pulled over. That will also relate to penalties. We can't have people travelling unnecessarily and unlawfully into regional Victoria from metropolitan Melbourne and potentially taking the virus with them. We know and understand that regional Victorians have done a mighty job, an amazing job to get these numbers down. That allows us to open up, as we've indicated. There'll be a table, I think, provided to each of you at the end of the press conferences to go through some of the finer detail, and if there's any clarification we need to give you, of course we will. But these are really significant steps, and they must be done safely. And if people are travelling into regional Victoria for no good reason, given the amount of virus in metropolitan Melbourne is higher, much higher in fact, then that risks the virus travelling with them. We simply can't have that happen. We'll have more to say about those detailed arrangements tomorrow, and we'll also have more to say about other things that are consequent to this in the days to come. But this is a great day for regional Victoria.